fantastic rounds of the thrilling Kerrick Industrial Equipment Sports Sedans, round 3 has finally arrived. The competition has been hotting up. Defending champion Tony Ricciardello has an almighty fight on his hands to keep a grip on his sought-after crown. Dean Randall makes a return to the series after a massive accident at Phillip Island, and with a fresh set of wheels will be looking to reignite his championship hopes at the challenging Eastern Creek Raceway. After a few years out of the seat, Stephen Voigt is back in the 2006 Sports Sedan Series, and he's looking forward to some good racing.
Mate, I've raced Sports Sedan off for about 15 years on and off now, so I've had a bit of a layoff the last few years.
So what is it about Sports Sedans that brought the experienced driver back to the fold?
Oh, mate, just the brutal force of the cars. You know, it's getting close to 600, or close to 700 horsepower now. And you can jump on a car and do 2 or 3 laps and be as fast as a touring car, or go out there with these front guys. So,
with such an obvious passion for the series, why sit out in the first place?
I sold the car I had to Honda with the ex-Briggs car. I had that for only 7 years, so I got to the stage where just to have a bit of a change. I got busy at work. I didn't have time to commit to the series, so I sort of gave it away. But the last couple of years, I sort of a bit of an itch again. So. The couple on the Graham Bailey has actually been built for probably the last 5 or 6 years, but it's only run, I think the last 2 seasons is in New South Wales rounds. I actually rang Graham last Wednesday, and he said the car was still sitting in the truck for the last 12 months, hasn't fired a shot, so he said we did a bit of a deal on the phone, and about 10 minutes later, I own the car.
After round 2's horror crash at Phillip Island, one man happy to be back in the saddle is Kerrick entrant Dean Randall.
We always knew that we'd be back. We put a big effort in to get the car ready, and we weren't going to miss this event for anything. It's Thursday this week, 2 a.m, that we finished the car and had a couple of hours sleep, jumped in the truck and drove to Sydney.
So the big question is, has the crash made Randall think twice about racing in the Sports Sedan Series?
Yeah, I guess it was a bit scary. But, look, these things happen. It was a racing incident. Just got to get on with it, get it fixed and get back.
Time to take a look at the championship points after 2 rounds of the 2006 Kerrick Industrial Australian Sports Sedan Championship. It's Ricciardello on top, head of Randall, Tomasi, Hastings, Hossack, Crompton, Bailey and Wall.
Here we go, rolling start situation right now at Eastern Creek Raceway. Ricciardello and Randall, Bailey and Wall, Young and Tomasi, Jackson and Voigt. A number of cars, and there's some new ones too this particular round. Jeff Barnes at the back in the La Bella Roma entry. Look at Randall sitting back on Ricciardello here, Rich.
Well, Randall's a story in himself. Underway, Sports Sedan's the fastest thing in a straight line this weekend at Eastern Creek Raceway. Sensational watch. Underway, and it's Ricciardello into turn 1. And Tomasi round the outside in the Calibra. He's made up a couple of positions. One of them is Des Wall.
Bailey up the inside on Dean Randall. Manages to pull out of it at the last minute. There is Des Wall. What a fantastic look. What's happened to Randall and Bailey there?
Both have come off the racetrack at the inside of turn 2. That's not the place you usually see cars come off. Phil Crompton there in the Mustang Trans Am car to the inside of Randall.
Yeah, good result there, considering he was in all sorts of trouble prior to the race working on the car. Whoa, look at the Chickadee car in all sorts of trouble. Voigt there, he's driven a number of different race cars, but the 300ZX looks sweet.
One car very, very wide. As we take a look at this replay, thanks to Kerrick Industrial at turn 2. Not sure exactly what happened there with those 2 cars. Well, maybe they just tried to avoid the turn 2 crush, perhaps, here at Eastern Creek. Took the short way across the dirt to avoid some panel damage, perhaps.
Importantly, it was nothing that Randall couldn't handle compared to Phillip Island, that's for sure, where he got the car enormously inverted. And now he works hard. What a fantastic effort by that team to have the car back.
And it's even better presented than it was before. Nice new Kerrick Industrial livery. I think Kerrick chipped in. There's the 6 car, the La Bella Roma. This thing is a brilliant looking race car.
It is, isn't it? Wild, isn't it?
Barnes, what a great racing car it is. There's Glenn Hastings in the Cortina leading a 300ZX Nissan onto the start-finish straight. So the mix of machinery in Sports Sedans as wide as it always has been, but into turn 1, Ricciardello, something over 265 k's an hour, these things.
I love the Corvette. I just love the Corvette, mate. The way it is so low to the ground. Look at it. You couldn't fit a MasterCard underneath that front splitter.
Well, hang on. There were some problems there. I think that might have been Voigt. Some dramas with his... actually, that's not. That's one of the local Calibras who's come out this weekend. Chris Jackson, the local driver, in car 11. Some panel damage.
Steve's toy shop entry. Very nicely turned out. As you said, Got a bit of an unusual thing going there.
What a toy.
Absolutely. Look at that. Exposes the left rear wheel. Oh, what a great car. Up the inside comes Voigt on Crompton now.
Good move. Well, these things are basically open wheelers with an engine in the front and a body on top, so perhaps he's just trying to go back to the way they're meant to be. Move up the inside, the Chickadee car. There's a famous sponsor for you. Bathurst, 86, anybody? Gricey?
Alan Grice, just thinking that myself. Just see there, Daniel Tomasi got his hands full with Wall. Right in behind him now, and Wall starts to make a run at Tomasi once more.
Hasn't Tomasi got this Calibra going this weekend? The Victorian competitor who's done this full championship, competed in a number of rounds last season with some success, but really firing here at Eastern Creek. If these aren't the two best-looking race cars in the country, the Jetback Black Calibra and the Trans Am Corvette, I don't know what are. They are sensational.
Gotta love the Alfa Romeo too, though. It is a sweet-looking car as well, but you do have a fantastic combination of really swoopy body styles and enormous horsepower.
And lots of wings. Heaps of downforce as these cars pummel into turn one at Eastern Creek. Great to watch down there.
And when you stand in turn one in the pit area during qualifying, it sounds like an F-18 approaching an aircraft
boom,
carrier.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible, the sound. Randall was a lot further back than he would like to be, battling with Voigt now, but at the moment, Dean's just happy the car's in one piece, and so are the pit crew.
I think so. Voigt pressing on. The number two making a return. He's just bought this car and trying to put the development work into it. The Chickadee.
Something like a week ago or something he bought the car.
Not much time to get it prepared for this. You hope to say the same about Dean Randall, though, wouldn't you, after that monumental crash, one of the biggest crashes for quite some time in Australian motorsport. This team have done a great job to get the Saab 9-3 back on track as we look at Wall to the inside of Daniel Tomasi round Corporate Hill. They're side by side. Oh, Tomasi shuts the door. Not this time, Des. He's going to have to wait and try the inside at turn 9.
I wonder whether David's ever going to get a chance to drive Des's car, his old man's car, because it is fantastic. I must admit, I'd rather drive this than the Porsche.
Quite possibly.
You're probably a little bit different on that scar, but look at Tomasi trying to come back. Another guy doing a pretty good job is young Trent Young, the RK&T Young Plumbing Mazda RX-7.
Yeah.
There it is, doing a good job.
Very strikingly liveried race car, and he's hanging on to the back of this battle. In fact, Wall and Tomasi dicing. Here's a replay of David Wall taking a big fire down the inside to get past Tomasi and made that move stick. Tomasi saw it at the last moment and just moved to the outside a little bit to give some clean racing room to Des Wall. And the Mazda behind them is closing in thanks to this dicing, but Tomasi's doing a great job. Been really impressed with his performance. He is absolutely firing this weekend and looks still very, very close to the back of David Wall, to Des Wall, I should say, who is closing right up on Tony Ricciardello. That margin has come right down, Wado.
Well, we saw a bit of smoke earlier, Richard, with the smoke coming out of the Alfa Romeo at the end of the main straightaway, and I just wonder whether this car has got something rubbing or it's got an engine issue, because they're hauling him in way too quickly for there not to be an issue here.
There's some smoke from the Corvette as well, but that could just be the very, very low bodywork rubbing on the very, very wide tyres.
Smoke.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. In fact, I reckon it might be. But around the back of Corporate Hill, so this margin has come right down in the last couple of laps. Has Ricciardello got a problem? If he does, he has got two exceptionally fast cars and very good drivers right behind him.
I really worry about the future of this car, the Alfa Romeo, because, Richard, as you know, it's been an iconic Australian motorsport race car over the years.
Tomasi.
Wow, Tomasi. Wall's got a problem. The car is slowing dramatically there. Ricciardello's V8 supercar career is growing and growing, and I just worry if he steps out of the car, what will become of that incredible red and yellow rocket ship from WA?
I don't know the exact number, but hasn't it won something like 6 or 7 Australian national titles? I mean, that's unparalleled in this category. There's a replay of Tomasi. That's an odd place to make a move, and that was certainly all straight line. And the Corvette usually a match for the Calibra, but that time round some dramas for. Maybe missed a gear, maybe trouble selecting it. Look at the bodywork flapping around.
They're all trailing smoke, Rich, which tells me that the bodyworks are all pressing down onto the rear tyres. Almost everyone's got tyre smoke. Oh, there's trouble.
What a shame.
That's the Steve's Toys entry just then coming in, unfortunately. So Chris Jackson has to call it a day in this one. Imagine if the manufacturers had released models of this car off the showroom floor. The Calibra, how many more were they sold?
About 1 million more, I think. And the Alfa, for that matter, as well. I mean, the GTV was always a pretty good selling little car, but imagine if they made a hypo one with a huge V8 and then gave it to Tony Ricciardello to race.
And a massive rear spoiler like this one, the Rain-X Rustbuster rear spoiler. They come back over the top of Corporate Hill. I think Ricciardello's in defensive mode somewhat. Tomasi is all over him here.
Car got a bit loose coming through Corporate Hill, and yeah, Ricciardello places his car to the middle of the racetrack. Tomasi, a very late dive to the inside at turn 9.
Oh!
Pushes him wide as well, but gets past and takes the lead. The 22 car is in front.
Tomasi's thinking, I can win this. It's time to get evil.
Yeah.
Makes a very good charge, runs the Alpha very wide. Here they come now. Tony Ricciardello, what can he do? He got very loose just there.
Cost him time as well. Cost him 2 or 3 car lengths, or did it? Because he's back up behind the Calibra now. Here's the replay. Very, very late move from Tomasi in the Calibra, and sort of hip and shouldered him out the way. Did he like a rugby tackle? Hang on a minute. Mike on it. See ya.
Bump play on. But Ricciardello's got the car very sideways here at the moment. He's really got his hands full. Took his mum for a drive during the week. The Jiu-Jitsu team had a test day and took his mum. He said he was absolutely to the floor. 270 k's an hour or something down the straightaway. And his mum was saying, come on, what else have you got? So she's obviously got blood, racing blood as well. It's great stuff.
Runs in the Ricciardello family. The battle for the lead is on. 1 lap to go. The Kerrick Industrial Australian Sports Sedan Series here at Eastern Creek. This is great racing. We haven't seen racing like this in sports sedans for quite some time. It's on at the front. Ricciardello looks to the inside. They went side by side there. Into shot. Tomasi giving no quarter. Big brake lock up. And Ricciardello gets through and takes the lead.
Doesn't matter if the car is ailing or it isn't. It's about the race win, isn't it? Tomasi coming back.
Did you see the black strips of rubber Ricciardello left as he exited the corner? Horsepower for you galore. Side by side. How close were they through there?
Now, Tomasi knew at this point, I better back out of this. They've got no way of getting around the corner. And when you think about it, when it's about a race win, that pride kicks in, and Ricciardello has come charging back.
Chris Jackson just getting out the way, so he will finish this race 1 lap down between these guys, or behind these guys. But what a drive by Tony Ricciardello. The first time in quite some time he's felt sustained pressure throughout a motor race, and he's going to take it out here at Eastern Creek. Race 2 goes to the Alpha, but what a battle it is. Ricciardello wins it. Tomasi second. Randall home for third. That's a great comeback ahead of Voigt, Barnes, Wall, Crompton, and Trent Young rounding out the top 8. Great motor racing at Eastern Creek.
We had a good race then. It was a 10-lap race, so we had to conserve the tyres a little bit. Obviously, we had a race yesterday as well, so it does get a little bit taily around here with so much horsepower. So the last race should be interesting, but I think we should be looking good for it.
Oh, we're really happy with the car. We struggled all weekend. We haven't been here before, so it's our first time out here. And to be up at the pointy end with such talented drivers like Des and obviously Tony, we're pretty happy with the weekend.
Well, I had a good start. I was in second position, which is not the ideal place to be on this track because the third position can get under you in turn 1, but I held my line through turn 1 rather, and then in turn 2, Kerry just got a bit ambitious, I think, and ran into the side of me and spun me around, and I lost about 10 places.
After a run with a different sort of V8 power in Darwin, Tony Ricciardello was back in his iconic Alfa Romeo sports sedan.
It's a different sort of weekend. We're normally used to being at the front, and reliability and that, we struggled a little bit, but by the end of race 3 we were on the pace, and it's looking good for Sandown when I'm hopping in the car next. We've got a little bit more power in the Alpha, and it's a bit lighter, but the technology on those cars, is obviously a lot more money spent on them, and the shock absorbers and just the little technical things are just refined a little bit even more. So the power loss and the weight gain that you do have in those cars is sort of it's pulled a bit close to us. So but mate, they're pretty good for what they are.
So after his stint in the V8 supercar, is Tony looking to make the move to the V8s more permanent?
We just have to see how it goes. This year we've sort of done both during the year. For Sandown, we're going to have to miss the Queensland round, the 4th round of the Trans Am Sports Sedan Series, and it's it's a little bit difficult, but we have to let it go sometimes, and just my career might be on the way up, hopefully, and we just need to get a couple of good results in the Falcon.
Well, we're just about set for the final race of the day. Let's go down and talk to the man on fire in race 2, Daniel Tomasi.
We're pretty impressed. It's as fast as we've gone, including qualifying, and yeah, we're really happy with the car.
So the car's working well, but we've got an intermittent miss that's been hard to find, and it's battery voltage, so we think the alternator's playing up. Lap 7 it started, and you can't use any throttle from then on. It just won't fire the ignition.
Well, the pressure is on for Des Wall from the outside of the second row. The second race of today, the third on the program for the Sports Sedans as we get underway for race 2. Ricciardello and Randall. Tomasi in there as well. Barnes in the La Bella Roma car as we get set for this rolling start. Look at Randall. What's he doing from the outside? Just sticking the nose there. They're almost 3 wide on the rolling start. Away we go. Underway at Eastern Creek Raceway. The green flag flies and another great start for Tomasi to the outside at 1.
You can see Tomasi's confidence is growing enormously, Rich. He really feels like he can get up and mix it now with Ricciardello. A lot of debris off the side of the circuit just then coming into this turn number 2. You see Wall, Trent Young, Phil Crompton there in the number 21 Mustang. They've had a very busy time of it. That team have had to source all sorts of engine bits from different parts of suburbia overnight, and things are starting to pay off now. They're back there in right about 7th position.
So, a great battle in race number 2. The first one in out coverage between Tomasi and Ricciardello, really going at it, and Ricciardello won it by the skin of his teeth because Tomasi led a number of laps and looked very, very strong. What can the Caliverate do this time round? You've got to keep in mind, though, that Dean Randall's fired up. He's in 3rd place, all in the Corvette as well. All contenders in this final race of the day.
Got to tell you who I'm very impressed with is Stephen Voigt. The guy has come from nowhere, but certainly he's got a lot of racing experience, but the car has been untested for a couple of years. It's been in someone's backyard. He's come out and got the car together to run this weekend, and he's giving Randall some curry in only his 3rd drive for the weekend after some time away. The guy's got some talent.
Well, he's a very experienced racing car driver, back in the seat this weekend. Great looking car, as they all are, I might add. The Chickadee car, of course, the sponsor that supported Alan Grice to Bathurst victory in '86 with Graham Bailey. As they come down the start-finish straight, there's the Corvette. Imagine having that thing in your mirrors. It's like being at Le Mans in a straight line, side by side, down towards turn 1. And Des Wall picks one off and moves up 1 position. That will be P4 for the Corvette.
I prefer Laguna Seca, but hey, I can go with what you're saying. Tomasi! Well, he trotted it big time then. Nearly overstepped the mark braking-wise. You can tell how hard he's pushing to stay with Ricciardello, and I think Tony has really stepped up the program in this race. He doesn't want to be caught this time.
Absolutely. For the grip these cars have got with their huge tyres and even bigger wings, you've got to say that's great to see them moving around on the racetrack as they do. Tomasi, I don't think he intended to do that, just got a bit out of shape under brakes into turn number 2. Back in the field a little bit, here's the battle between Crompton and the La Bella Roma car. Barnes, I've got to say, this is one of the classic racing liveries used in the States for a number of years, and the La Bella Roma car has sort of taken it this weekend with Barnes and the Trans Am, and really, what a fantastic looking car that is.
Oh, absolutely. If you love your American muscle, it doesn't get any better than the Howard Bodyworks La Bella Roma car. It takes on Crompton.
Hello.
I think you might even be able to pull that off too. Not a bad job.
Trent Young there in the RK&T Young Plumbing entry, the Mazda RX-7 doing a nice job. One of the rotary powered cars as they run up into the final couple of corners. There's the 6 and a great move on Phil Crompton there.
Look at the ground clearance on the Aero Kids, mate.
What ground clearance?
Just nothing. It's just amazing. They're just so low to the ground, and they really must cut through the air beautifully. Barnsley's having a very good run here.
Well, the whole idea with the Sports Sedans, isn't it? Try and make it as low, as wide, and as sleek as possible. You still got to keep the original. I think you've got to keep the roof profile, I believe, and the front couple of pillars to keep the body shape. Aside from that,
Barnsley.
easy comes, easy goes as Barnsley to the inside at 2. The battle for the lead is on as well. Ricciardello runs quite wide at number 2. Interesting line, and Tomasi closes right up. No, he doesn't. Round he goes.
Just goes to show how hard he was having to push to stay with Ricciardello, and that's cost him probably 6 or 7 positions now.
The 22 car spins to the inside. I've got to say, it's not the first time we've seen some people spin coming out of turn 2. Just getting on the power that bit too early, and when you've got as much grunt as that thing does, not a hard thing to do.
Yeah, you just see dropping over the top there, the guys are all starting to really gang up now. Randall still doing the job, just ahead then of Des Wall. Here is Ricciardello. Man, this thing is just rocking.
Saab is second, ahead of the Corvette in third place. Here's the replay. Just gassed it a bit early out of turn 2, you got to say.
How easy would that be to do?
Spun the rear wheels and spun to do some grass cutting in the inside of Eastern Creek here. The ARDC will love him for that, I'm sure.
He was trying to work out whether it was going to be easier to turn right then and come back on the racetrack, or gas it up and complete the loop.
Yeah.
Now, Des Wall and Dean Randall really going at it. This is a much better result for the Kerrick team now in car number 93.
Is it just me, or is the gap closed between Ricciardello and Randall? I think Randall's closed. No, I reckon he's closed up, Wayno. I reckon he has.
I'm sure you're right.
I'm pretty certain I am.
Oh, smoke off Wall's car. You're dead right, mate. I was being smart, Alec. The Saab is definitely starting to gather in. Smoke. The right front tyre just then.
Could be dramas for Ricciardello. The gap has certainly come down. It's not helping Randall, though, because he's got this Corvette of Des Wall right up behind him through turn number 1. Really putting the pressure on, so Randall's got to decide, does he chase Ricciardello, who could well be struggling, might be having tyre difficulties, the Alpha, or does he defend with Des Wall in the big Corvette, putting the pressure on? Great battle, and this race is really shaping up.
How quick does that look? Good aerial shot just there. I can't wait till Darren Hossack brings out the new Audi for next year, too. That's going to be a really good package to bring into this one. Look at Barnesy!
He is putting the pressure on Tomasi. Figures he's got one of the leading cars that we've seen with race-winning pace. He's got one of them in front of him. Let's try and race him.
That's good
Why
stuff.
not? The margin's closed as well. Randall really closing up. He's left Des Wall. He's got a car length or two as the flames belch from the side of the Corvette. And he is looming up behind Ricciardello. The Alpha may be in problems, and Dean Randall's on a charge.
Alpha, Audi, Chevrolet. Oh, they just go together, don't they?
They do, don't they? A bit of an unlikely combination on Aussie racetracks, but why not?
Look at Barnes. He's working Tomasi over big time here. Daniel's got his hands full. Largely unsponsored, but a very enthusiastic team behind him. Randall coming after Ricciardello now.
Side by side into the final couple of corners. Wally sitting in there just watching this as well. Pass for the lead. Randall is in front. What a comeback this has been. A major crash in the final race at Phillip Island to the lead in the final race at Eastern Creek. All in the space of, what, 6 to 8 weeks. Great move. And he's in front.
The tyre of Wall. It is rubbing profusely.
Hello.
Randall pulls up. And wow, Ricciardello shot back by him.
Well, if he's got dramas, it's not with the engine. The last lap of this motor race, and Ricciardello retakes the lead from Dean Randall.
Something happens when that white flag comes out. Tony goes, hang on, I can't lose this. That's not in the equation. Randall looming in his mirrors now, and so too Wall.
Ricciardello very defensive into turn 2. Look at them working these cars out of this corner. Randall's thing was very, very quick out the final few turns in the last lap, which is where he got by Ricciardello. Have a look at this camera angle. Great view as they run through.
Isn't it?
Yeah, great angle, and shows these cars the speed they carry through the first corner and the second corner. And Ricciardello to the inside again over the crest. Is this where he's going to take the lead once again? He does. Ricciardello back to second place. Randall now back in front.
And now Des Wall thinking, well, what the hey? I'll have a crack at it too. He goes through to second, or does he? No. Yes, he does. To the Corvette to second now.
Terrific racing. This is a great battle. Thanks to Kerrick Industrial, who will be loving this. The Australian Sports Sedan Series, the Kerrick replay. Pretty textbook move to the inside at 4 there. Dean Randall getting by. And yeah, Ricciardello must have dramas because he's dropped right off now. Des Wall putting the pressure on Dean Randall out in front of this field. The 93 Kerrick Industrial cleaning equipment car. Final couple of corners, Wade. He's going to bring it home. How's this for a story? What a comeback.
Yeah, what a fitting result for an enormous effort by the team. Wall still with smoke pouring out of the back. Well done, Team Randall.
A great comeback, a massive crash, as we said before at Phillip Island, and Dean Randall rewards his sponsors and his crew in the best possible way by winning race 3 in the Kerrick Industrial Australian Sports Sedan Championship at Eastern Creek. Wall was next ahead of Ricciardello, Voigt, Tomasi, Barnes, Crompton and Young completing the field. Championship points after 3 rounds.
Yeah, Ricciardello with a 12-point lead over Randall. Back to Tomasi, Hastings and Crompton. A flat tyre ends the day for Ricciardello.
We ended up getting a puncher in that last race, and we struggled for the line. But look, we got over the line and got some points and won the round. So that was good. A little bit of repairs, but that's all right. We can make the car faster.
Yeah, it was a great race. You know, Tony and I had a great race, couple of comings together there, but you know, in all, it was a terrific race.
The car was good. We changed the battery in that one. We had the battery die 3 laps from the end in the second race. That didn't help our situation, but started from 6th and we pushed our way through. It was good.